First of all, I just want to thank. It's easy just to kind of take things for granted, and I never have. It's easy for people to feel like they're entitled to something. I wasn't raised in that kind of home. So I just want to thank Rick Villarreal and Lane Rollins and now Neil Smatras for giving me this opportunity to lead this program. I come into work every day just appreciative and thankful and blessed that I get this opportunity, because there's only 128 of us in this whole great country of America to lead Division I football programs. Are we anxious? Are we excited to play? Obviously, that's an understatement. It seems like everybody in the world has played college football but North Texas. That's probably accurate. But really, really excited to get into game week finally, and know that we've got a really, really important, challenging game here Saturday night down at SMU. Give you an update on some things, guys. Obviously, our captains, the vote from our players, that was strictly from the players. Love those guys. They've been leading since January. This isn't something that just cropped up here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The 4 captains that my players voted for, it's really since January, through all the winter workouts and spring football and summer workouts, and when they're on their own and voluntary or expected or obligated to do, whatever it is, these guys have led. So I'm really, really proud of those guys. Our special teams captain this week will be Jared Lynn, who's had a tremendous camp, senior. We've nominated him for the National Football Foundation postgraduate scholarship. Every Division I school in the country gets one. I had 2 of them when I was at Iowa State University. Dave Burska, linebacker, and Todd Bandauer, a quarterback, that won them. It's a huge honor. And the 16 award winners will be honored out in New York at the Hall of Fame induction, college football. Everybody's there from who's who in college football. And it's just a recommendation, but it's really an honor to recommend him and put him up, because I think he's got a real heck of a chance, because grades, character, work ethic, contributions on and off the field, amazing young man. But he'll be our special teams captain this week. Last night's practice, how about this one? Johnny Lott fed our football team out of his loyalty and his generosity. Really a heck of an offensive lineman here, and the best strength coach in the last probably 3 or 4 decades in the NFL, who happens to be retired right now, but he loves North Texas. So he fed our football team last night. And then we had Ken Bonson, we had Chuck Beatty, we had Berkeley Harkless, we had Mean Joe Green, all these guys, Hall of Famers at North Texas, that came out to watch our football team practice, visit with them afterwards. Mean Joe Green was the spokesperson for all of them, and then all of them came up and we ate together. They ate together. I had to go to a radio show, but they all came and ate together. So it was really, really a good day for the Mean Green yesterday. Conference USA, really good weekend, obviously, 8-4, some dramatic, great wins. To the people on the outside, probably some surprises, maybe a couple shocks. For those of us that are in the inside, and when you meet with these coaches and you coach against them and you recruit against them and you sit in meetings and you see the character and the talent and the organizational abilities and the motivational abilities, and they're just really good people. And so it doesn't surprise me one bit. The start that our conference had last week, some fantastic wins for Conference USA, and you sure like to see that. Our academics that we just completed not long ago here, outstanding. And I know a lot of people go, big deal, win some games, Mac. I get all that. But when you have nearly 70 guys with a 3-point and almost 30 of them with a 4-point, we had the best 4-year APR rating in the history of this school. We had the best 1-year APR rating in this past year. And that means you're taking care of business. They understand academics is really important. Getting a degree is really important. Staying in school is really important. Not just staying eligible, but trying to excel in the classroom is really important. And it's an indicator of your program and the commitment that you have from your student athletes. And I'm really proud of my guys for doing that. It's hard to do. We ask so much of these student athletes nowadays. It's really tough. It's hard. It's so much more than it was many years ago. I had a reunion with some of my Iowa teammates this summer in Dallas, Texas. And we got together and they started counting up the years, and I didn't, they did, and indicated to me this is my 44th year in Division I football coming up. So I have a lot to compare it to. And there's a lot of demands and expectations on student athletes nowadays, both male and female athletes. And we ask a lot, and they sure give us a lot. And when they can excel in the classroom too, it's really important. Love seeing it. Fan support, we really appreciate all of the students and fans that want to go down to this game. Why wouldn't you want to? It's a series that's been completely dominated by SMU. We don't live too far apart. Two great universities, two first-class universities, two universities that really get young people ready for the rest of their lives in this journey called life. And yet we get to go out there and have a scoreboard at the end of the end zone, both end zones, and find out who's best on a football field. So it's going to be a really, really big challenge, but an exciting opportunity for us, and we're looking forward to it. SMU had a really, really good opening game last week, even though the score at the end it really looked to me like Baylor really kind of pulled away, and they kind of imposed their speed and imposed their talent and imposed their system on SMU as the game really wore on. But very much of that game, way deep into the third quarter, it's any team's win. It's anybody's chance to win that game. And when you see that from a team that's playing against a team and coaching against a team that's in the top 5 in the country, and rightfully so, and just missed out on the college football playoffs last year, and Baylor's loaded with talent, we understand, and I understand the challenge that we're getting into. They're much, much better on offense than when we played them last year. They're much, much better on defense than when we played them last year. And clearly they're much, much better on special teams than when we played them last year. So I know how hard this game is going to be. My staff does. I got to make sure that my 70 guys that go with me down to Ford Stadium understand that, because this is really going to be a heck of a challenge. Chad Morse has done a heck of a job in the short time he's been there. He's a winner wherever he's been. High school, unbelievable record in the state of Texas as a high school coach. Tulsa as a coordinator. Clemson as a coordinator. And not bad as a head coach. First call you make as a Division I head coach, touchdown against a top 5 team in the country. So there's excitement, there's confidence, there's toughness, there's togetherness, there's unity at SMU that we didn't see when we played them last year, and it's very obvious when you watch it either on TV live, on television, or you rewatch the tape as we have the last few days since that game ended. So we're going to have a real challenge. I really like the progress of our football team. Real important practices here remain this week. But we're anxious to play. You know, when you have as many days, weeks together as we have as a team, you really either find out good things or bad things about your football team, and I just really like being around this football team. I think they're tough-minded. I think they care. I think they're loyal. I think they understand that everybody on the outside thinks that because of the schedule, opportunities that we have are going to be many and going to be great. The culture today is about raising, it just seems like it's raising young people to be entertained instead of raising young people to be challenged. That's what I see as a parent and as a football coach. And we won't lack for any challenges when you look at our schedule, starting with SMU this week. And you look at 8 bowl-eligible teams, 5 home games, 7 on the road. The results of last weekend, just the very first weekend of Conference USA, but you sure see this conference is really loaded, I think, with some really good teams and good coaches and good players, and it's going to be an exciting race. So open it up for questions. Appreciate all of you being here.
Decided to go with McNulty in the end. You talked a little bit about last night at your coach's show, but could you give us a little insight into what went into that decision?
Yeah, and it's been really good competition, Brett. I've kind of said this all along. Our quarterback position and our wide receiver position are much improved from last year at this time. And all I can base it on is August and early September here. But no question, all of those quarterbacks are playing better than any of our quarterbacks did at any time last year. Hope it shows Saturday night, 6 o'clock. But clearly Andy Mack has been our guy. He and Blake Bean were the top vote getters from a captaincy standpoint. All 4 of the guys that won the captaincy and were awarded the captain title are unbelievable young men, great young men. But you could just see the respect that our team and our players have for those guys, and Andy Mack had all kinds of votes because our team believes in him. Our players do, our coaches do. He's been really, really consistent. He's taken much better care of the football. He's made more plays. He understands what we're doing. He's not afraid to try and get a wide receiver or a running back or a tight end straight or fixed or straightened out if there's something that's wrong. I've seen him emerge as a leader. I want him to continue to do that, as I do all my captains, because I've never been on a football team where you had captains that just did it by example. That's great, but there's a time and a place, and especially out there on game day when the adversity hits, that you have to be ready to lead and rally people and come back in a tough situation. And I think Andy Mack's definitely in position to do that.
A lot of times when you have a open quarterback position or a competition like you did, it can divide a team. How reassuring is it that his teammates voted him a captain? Obviously, they're on the same page there also.
Same page, Joe, no question about it. And, and the neat thing is Josh Greer's really improved over a year ago. DeMarcus has really made some strides. But if he was a number one, we'd list him number one. He's not. If he was a number two, we'd list him number two. He's our third quarterback right now. Honestly, that's no surprise to me or anybody when you're that far behind. This isn't hand it off and just run an option, or hand it off and give it to your fullback, or just pitch it to your tailback. The game has changed. There's so many more complexities now that there didn't used to be years ago, and it really takes time and reps and repetition and learning from your success and learning from your mistakes and just learning the whole system. And when you miss all of winter workouts, all of spring football and all that, it's hard. But to credit to DeMarcus, he's done some really good things. But he's the three. And if Andy Mack would get hurt, we don't want that to happen. If he gets hurt, Josh Greer's going in. If he would get hurt, then DeMarcus comes in the game. And that's really where we're at. But Andrew McNulty's just had a tremendous camp, and he's got a real confidence about him. And I hope that he'll lead our offense to some really good things Saturday night. You know, I think we ended up number one in the country last year in red zone offense, which is great. The bad news is, that was the good news. The bad news was we didn't get to the red zone nearly as many times as we need to. And I'm hoping under his leadership that we can get to the red zone more often than we did last year.
Does it matter that SMU hasn't seen you guys in a year? You're changing defensive coordination, doing some different things offensively?
Yeah, I mean, there's an advantage and disadvantage in every game, as we all know, Brett, and heading into especially the opener. So advantage North Texas is they don't really know what we'll do. They think they know. They work on all kinds of things. They had 12 games to look at us last year. And I'm sure they've probably gotten some tape from where Chris Kosh was a coordinator before, or where he's coached before, but they don't really know. But you make those adjustments real quickly in the start of a game. First series, first quarter, you really make those adjustments into what you have. You have a huge advantage when you've played a game versus a team that hasn't played a game. They've played in a game physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all those things. They've gone through a game like that. We haven't. We've been practicing. We've been orchestrating game situations. We've been scrimmaging. It's not the same. So they have a clear advantage. They know a lot more. Chad Morris knows a lot more about his football team right now on game day than I do about mine. So that's a clear advantage for them. But we have to overcome that in a tough situation in a road game, one of 7 of our road games this year, and still try to find a way to win that football game. So really going to be a tough challenge. But exciting. As all of you know, North Texas has never beaten SMU 2 years in a row in the history of this series. You want to be part of history, then go do that. We did it last year. We were fortunate to win a game here. But it's a new time. It's a new season. It's a new coaching staff from SMU standpoint. And who wants it the most, who's really hungry, who's going to make the plays, who's going to outlast the other team is going to have a hell of a celebration. And the other team's not. And we hope it's us.
You've said in the past that this can't be a rivalry because North Texas hasn't won enough to make it a rivalry. How important is it to start stringing together some wins against them and turning the tide on that?
Yeah, I mean, you see the numbers, Joe, obviously 5-28, I think, over all these years. And it's embarrassing, really, the lack of success that we've had against SMU. And they've had some really good teams and some really good coaches and some really good players, but so have we. But in the end, it's just been a complete mismatch. So we were fortunate to win 1 game last year. We're trying to win 2 in a row. I wish we had a trophy. I like trophies. When you're going to play somebody every year, we don't have one. If somebody's got a good suggestion and recommendation to the ADs, to the head coaches, to both universities, I'd be all for it. We're going to play every year, and I'd be all for that. I've been part of Floyd of Rosedale. I've been part of the Paul Bunyan Axe. I've been part of Cy-Hawk Trophy. I've been part of the Florida State Series when you have this big, huge, beautiful trophy that goes to the winner. Those things I love. It's part of the history of college football and the tradition of college football. And if we're going to play every year, then let's get a trophy and play for it. So we don't have one yet, but I'd be all for that. But the bottom line is we're going to try and do something that no team and no players and no group of Mean Green football players have ever done, and that's trying to win 2 games in a row against SMU.
Speaking of their coaching staff, one of the interesting ties, I know guys bounce from job to job, was Van Malone was here for a while. Now he's the defensive coordinator at North Texas. Your travels in college football, have you ever come across Van or gotten to talk to him?
No, I don't. We study the coaching staff, we study the players, we study the history, we study their resumes and those kind of things, and just have great respect for them. I know McCarney really, really well, and he doesn't hire guys unless they're really good coaches, really good recruiters, really good people, high character people. And he came from that Oklahoma State program that's had major success. So when we watch Clemson tape, which we have, obviously, that's where Chad Morris came from, Van Malone, Oklahoma State, and we watched Oklahoma State tape, and we watched UAB tape, obviously, because their special teams coordinator that was with UAB last year, that's whatever his title is, he's involved with the special teams at SMU. We study those guys, and I know this much: they got really good coaches. They have more speed than they did last year when we played them. They look a lot more united as a football team than when we played them last year, and this is really going to be a hell of a challenge for our football team.
Another one of those interesting ties is Coach Hedlund, has been here forever, and one of the most successful coaches here now. His son's kicking out at SMU.
Yeah.
Ask for a scouting report from Coach Hedlund?
No, none of that. I wouldn't put him on the spot, and he wouldn't put me on the spot. And he came in one time and asked if he could kick in our stadium. So he's been out here, and I was helping him. I wasn't coaching him, but I gave him the opportunity to come into Apogee Stadium to use our goalpost when he was at Wake Forest. And now he's going to try and beat me and us at North Texas. But he's a heck of a kicker, no doubt about it. And you can see it on the kickoffs. He's got a really, really strong leg. And SMU is really fortunate to have him, just like we're really fortunate to have Trevor Moore. And there'll be two really good kickers. They'll be in the same game here Saturday.
Their quarterback provides a true dual threat. What do you have to do to contain him?
Yeah, I understand. Looking back all the way back here, he played in our game last year, Joe. You probably remember. He's been their leading rusher, I think, for the last 8 or 9 games at SMU. And when you rush for over 100 yards against BYU, a top 5 team in the country, he's the real deal now. And he is really athletic. He's tough. He is a great competitor. You can see that. He's in that system, the Chad Morris system, what they're doing down there offensively right now. He's a great fit, it looks like, for what they're trying to do. And we have got to be great on defense, because as soon as you are not good with lane relationship and lane integrity, he'll pull it down and run and make you look silly in space. He definitely can throw the ball. How about a long touchdown in the first throw of 2015 for a touchdown against a top 5 team in the country? You don't think he's going to take the field with confidence? Of course he will. I'm really, really impressed with him. And he's really improved. He's bought into the new system. He'll flourish as the season goes on, no doubt about it, as a quarterback in that system. We just hope he doesn't flourish too much against us Saturday.
Is it any more of a concern because you've got a new defensive coordinator and a little bit different scheme when you've got a quarterback like that can hurt you both ways?
Yeah, I mean, we're going into it. We can't go into it flinching. We can't go into it, oh my God, we can't play defense. But everybody on defense has great respect for him. And then they have freshman running backs that are out there making guys miss in space. They've recruited well in the short time Chad's been there. The cupboard wasn't bare. There's been a whole bunch of success at SMU in recent years, unlike North Texas. When I got here, there's been a whole bunch of success and bowl games and wins and national notoriety at SMU before Chad Morris took the job. And that sure wasn't happening at North Texas. So let's not get lost in the shuffle of a matchup here. They've had a lot of success at SMU, a lot of success under June Jones, and it just didn't happen last year. But in recent years, check the scores, look at the records, look at bowl games, all kinds of success. So we really know, I understand and I know how hard this challenge is going to be. But I'm excited. I can't wait to coach. I can't wait to see my football team. What are they going to do on game day? What are you going to do on game night? We don't know until we play that first game, and we're about the only team in America that hadn't seen that yet.
Sam Rice is pretty interesting, just in the fact that he's playing a team that he actually played for.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about his contribution since he's gotten here and how he's kind of risen to the top.
Yeah, he's done a heck of a job. I'm really proud of him. He's grown as a player. He's grown as a young man. He's grown as a leader. I'll be disappointed and surprised if he's not a captain his senior year here, to be honest with you. I think he's got that much respect from players as an underclassman. He was committed to us. He was going to come. He was committed to us for a long time for whatever reasons, and I won't get into all that. He changed his mind the night before signing, went to SMU. Great university, great choice on his part at the time. He felt like that was the right thing to do, but things didn't work out, and I'm just really glad he's back here. So he's one of my. I think he's a player's favorite, and he's one of the coach's favorites. And he's one of the head coach's favorites on this whole football team. That much I can tell you. So, but you can't get so caught up in emotions of, I'm going back, and I was there, and I started, and I played, and that was my first choice. And you're so excited and so emotional that you can't go out there and play good football, then that's not good. So, but I just love that every day he's got a smile on his face. It could be a easy day, what we ask him to do. It could be a really hard day. It could be 100 degrees. It could be weightlifting. It could be running. It could be practicing. It could be scrimmaging. He just got a smile on his face every day. He's really feels blessed and honored to be here. And you like that when you see student athletes nowadays that aren't entitled, feel like they're entitled to anything. He's appreciative of this opportunity. And thank God we got him here at North Texas. That's the way I feel about him. I go to work every day. I've got 117 guys on my roster. And I want them to have a good experience. I want them to feel like they're led by a coach that can help them get ready for life. And Sam's one of those guys I think responds to that.
One of the big questions going into the offseason was the offensive line, having to replace 4 starters. You've got 5 freshmen under 2 deep. How did that play out, and how comfortable are you going into the season?
Yeah, we're going to continue our evaluation. We got pads again today, pads again tomorrow. Hopefully, back off and go shorts on Thursday and best Fridays and football on Friday without pads on. But I just like the way those guys have stepped in. You'll see, I think, probably 8 to 10 of our newcomers that got here either in January, June, or July that are in this last class of 2015. You'll see those guys playing the game. And you go, well, offensive line, boy, they must be hurting. Put freshman offensive linemen out there. I don't look at it that way at all. I look at it, these guys are pretty talented. They've really learned. We put them on the fast track. Mike Simmons will coach them as hard as any offensive line coach in the country. They didn't come here to watch. They didn't come here to redshirt. They came here to play. And there's at least 3 of those freshman offensive linemen that there's a chance. I'm not telling you they're going to definitely play. There's a chance you'll see all 3 of them out there on Saturday night.
Is there anyone in particular that jumped up over the course of the offseason that maybe going into spring you didn't really have high expectations, but now you see them having a big role in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes right back to the newcomers, probably, Joe. And, the junior college guys, they should bring more experience, more maturity, and have a chance to impact us, and they've done that. I mean, you look at the guys there, the only ones not in the 2 deep of our JC guys is DeMarcus Smith. He's a 3 right now, and getting better every day. The high school guys that have come in, you just never know about the transition. It's hard. The academic demands, the out-of-season demands, the summer demands, the practice demands, the every minute of every day, you got to be organized, and you just never know. Some of them handle it real well, and some of them don't. But I just like the maturity of this class that we brought in and the job that they're doing. But to answer your question, there isn't any. Watching Roderick and the defensive line right now, I coached that position for 20 years, and I've rarely seen somebody that ready as a freshman to contribute. Now, he's not going to start, but he's going to play and play significant time, and I'm just really, really proud of him. And I talked to his dad the other day just to call him and thank him for supporting us and letting his son be a part of our program. And I said, you got any more like your son, let me know. And he said, I think I do. And I said, well, get that damn tape sent up here as fast as you can, because we want to find as many of them like that as we can.
A couple surprises on the depth chart. Brandon Garden, did he just kind of rise through the...
Yeah, he really has, Brett. He's really done a good job, and I'm sure SMU, like Rice, like Iowa, like anybody else will schedule, if he's out there on the field, they're going to look at him and go, who's that little midget? Not very big. He's not that tall. He's not that big. He's not an imposing figure. They might even go back in the huddle and kind of giggle. Do you see that little guy out there? But he's fast. He's tenacious. He's coachable. He's tough. He's really, really improved. I just really like what he's doing. He and Minor and Seth Ellis, all those guys all got good battle going, and we've got some depth, and they're all athletes. But he'll play Saturday night for the first time in his career like any of our other redshirt freshmen will.
You got Tigori out there at the top of the depth chart too. Now, he was a big-time signing. Everybody's excited about him. Redshirt. Did
Yeah.
he progress through that redshirt to the point where you really feel good about him?
Yeah, no question that he's really come on. Brett, love him, respect him. Everybody does in our program. He continues to make plays. He's tough. You'll see him on special teams because Tommy Perry wants him out there on special teams. And the neat thing is he's a redshirt freshman. And we need to keep bringing guys in like that have a chance to be here for a long time, a number of years, make a major impact on our team. But he does it all the time. What do wide receivers do when the ball's away from them? I'm not a primary receiver. The ball's away from him. You're going to hang out? You're just going to go 3/4 speed and hope the coaches don't see it? No, he just seems to go hard all the time. Like defense on the backside. You're going to go and scream to the football. Like if you don't make a tackle and you don't get there to make a tackle, you're going to get beat and they're going to score a touchdown. You kind of choke your motor. That's why we define what is a loaf. What's a loaf? And changing speed is one of those things. All of a sudden you change speed because you didn't think you could make a play, and all of a sudden you realize you can make a play. But we've not had to worry about Tikor Ree with any loafs since he's been here. He's just first-class young man. I'm really glad he's here, and our fans will enjoy watching him the next 4 years.
Do you have a theme, a message that you're sending to the team? You came in saying, why not North Texas? Now that you're into this, do you have a theme this year that you're...
No, there isn't any one special thing that I'd share with the public, but I mean, in all honesty, just we want our guys to stand up for their dreams, stand up for their teammates. When people on the outside, it's just so negative. You guys know that. You've heard it and seen it, and you got to be relevant in college football for people to care. And it's just one of those things that, sooner or later you just got to have some defiance to all the negativity and all the preseason stuff. And you guys are lower than whale crap, and nobody cares, and they talk about everybody else. Well, you gonna do something about it, or are you gonna go lose a football game and people don't care? Channel all that stuff if you can. And if you're frustrated or you're aggravated or you're disappointed or you don't like that stuff, then do something about it. And that's what we're really going to try and do. And I think this team right now is, they believe North Texas is slowly but surely becoming a really good destination for young people. And it's always been a great destination for a lot of sports. It's been a destination for students. But in football for a long time now, and I study history for decades and decades, there's been a lot of years where there wasn't much of a destination at North Texas. And I think our guys that are here believe this is a great destination, and they don't have to go around and keep justifying why they decided to come to North Texas. There's a lot of great reasons why we're all here, and I'm really appreciative and love this place. And but I don't ever want my players to ever regret that they came here, because our players came here because they believed in me and our staff. We brought them here because we believed in them. And if you go make something special out of that, then I think you can really have a season that all of us want to remember, just despite all of the negativity and low expectations and all the things that people say we can't do this year. So rise up, and that's why they have scoreboards at the end of the end zones, and we'll see if we can win some games and have a lot of fun this year. Anybody else? Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.